So you're probably wondering how to get stronger because you want to build muscles, burn some body fat, and why not? I want to help as many people as possible, so can you help me out? Like, comment, share, and please subscribe to my channel because then I will be able to make more videos and it supports me so much more. Thank you. So to get stronger, we need to learn this one word, periodization. Periodization means organization of training and how we can get you there. Now, first of all, we need to know how we can implement this. So when it comes to strength, you need to understand that this is only going to be useful for big compound-based movements. This isn't going to get you to calf raise 300 kilos. It could, but not going to be very beneficial. And this is not going to get you doing lateral raises that are on 90 kilo dumbbells because that's impossible. Anyway, you need to understand that this is going to be more useful for bigger base movements. So your big push based movements like your overhead press, to your machine chest press, to your bench press, to the deadlift and all its variations like trap bar deadlift and straight bar deadlift. And this can also help you out with things like a squat. So where do we go from here? Now that we know the exercises that it's useful for, I'm going to actually show you what's going to help you. So like I said, the word that we need to understand is periodization. Periodization just is a fancy word for organizing your training schedule so that we can help you get stronger or get a better outcome. So what do we mean by this? First of all, we need to treat exercise exposure just like it would be to medicine because we call this volume. And your exposure to how much volume you have has a response to how much you adapt, just like medicine. So what we're going to do is we're going to see how much your dosage response is, and then we start to use it into a program. Now I'm going to show you two models that will help you with this. One's the linear model, and one's what we call the undulating model or the wave model. Both of them are very common, and I'll show you examples and how I've implemented it as well in my training schedules and with my clients too. Before I start though, I'm going to tell you about a little bit of a story that I did when I first went to the gym. So when I first went into the gym, I was actually accidentally doing periodization. And how I did this was through my training programs. I'd had a notebook and I'd carry it with me, and I was only 17 at the time, so I didn't actually know what I was doing. But I knew that if I could write everything down, I can get stronger and stronger. I thought 3 sets of 10 was the bomb, so I wrote everything down to be 3 sets of 10. And what I'd do is I'll go 3 sets of 10 on, say, dumbbell chest press, and I wanted to work my way up all the way up to the 50 kilos. So I started at 15 for 1 week, and the next week I'd go to 15s and 17s and 20s and 22s, and eventually I realized I couldn't do more than 3 sets of 10. So what did I do? I actually jumped down for one weight for 1 week, and I actually did 2 sets of 8 instead, and went back up to 3 sets of 10 and started climbing back up again. Little did I know that I was actually accidentally implementing some sort of linear periodization and also undulating periodization. Anyway, end of story. I'm going to show you what the actual models look like. So here's the first model. This is the linear model. This is why the line goes straight. Linear means straight, by the way. So when we do this linear model, what we can see is that we're going to keep the sets and reps to be the same for simplicity for today's explanation. And we go from 65 to 70, 70 to 75, and so forth and so forth. The distance that we move it by is going to be the same each time. So that's why we call it a linear model. Now there's a downfall to this because there is going to be a limit where you can't do, say 90% of your 1 rep max for 3 sets of 5. That's going to be quite fatiguing. And this is where we meet it quite fast in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's shorter, it's more condensed, it can be effective, but it can also kind of downfall you because it's so short in nature. So this here is actually what we call the undulating periodized model. It's a wave. So unlike the linear model where you'll see it goes straight up, this one here actually goes up, then back down and up and back down and goes through. Now inevitably when you're doing the linear model, it will happen anyway, but we actually control when this happens. So for this one here, I've done a 3-to-1 ratio where we go up 3 and then back down, then up 3 again. So for someone like this person can deadlift once again the 100 kilos as we mentioned before. And we're starting at 65 to 70 to 75, then going back down to 70, 75, then 80, then we go back down again. Why do we do this? This is so that we can avoid any fatigue and accumulation of that fatigue. So in this week here, when we go from 75 to 70, the recovery is going to be a lot higher than the other 2 weeks. As we get to the high percentages like this week over here, we go 75, 80, and 85. Don't mind that error. That's where the recovery rate won't be as high as we are down here, 65, 70, and 75. And hopefully between these 6 weeks, we actually have a high recovery rate and our body starts to adapt. So then when we get to here, we might be as fit here as we are there, and we can recover just as well. Now, what's the downfall for this model? The downfall for this model is it takes so much longer to get through. As you can see, we've got 9 weeks. We have 9 weeks of training as opposed to the linear model where it's quite condensed before we get there. So that's the pro and con. So now you know how to get stronger. Now the only way that periodization actually doesn't work is A, you periodized it wrong, or B, you have bad technique, or C, you break the program. Now why do those 3 things matter? Because those 3 things affect what we call the dosage response. Because with periodization, all we're trying to do really is control how much we expose you to the exercise or training to make sure that you can recover and respond for the next training session. So when you're doing this, it's not always optimal to be training at 100% maximum, when really what you need to be focusing on is technique at like in the first 2 weeks. Because there's a reason why it's lighter, because further down the track it's going to get heavier. I always like to say that periodization is like taking 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 3 steps forward and 1 step back, because it gives you a longer base journey. So hopefully this helps you and helps you understand how to get stronger. Because if you can get stronger by pushing the floor harder, this will help you with your kicks in certain martial arts or in sports or in jumping to overall your brute strength in your deadlift. Like I said, it's worked for me, it's scientifically proven, and even Olympians do this. Known fact. If you have any more questions about training, strength conditioning, programming, or how to get stronger, leaner, or build muscle, let me know. And if you have something very specific, don't be afraid to comment on the video below. I will make a video just to help you out. Thank you once again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.